One of the most popular grips out on tour is the claw grip right now. And Tommy Fleetwood getting a victory with it, along with Scottie Scheffler this year and Justin Rose this year. Now, Tommy Fleetwood has used it for a long time, going back to about 2017. Now, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the evolution of his claw grip and how it's kind of changed over the years, and then also a little bit of difference of his claw grip versus Scottie Scheffler's claw grip and how they use it kind of in their routine. So the first thing we want to talk about, I actually want to kind of even go back before that. Before, when this grip kind of first came out on tour, a lot of guys called it, Mark O'Meara was probably like the first one, they called it the saw grip, and it was more of this whole hand kind of getting in here, and you can see how these fingers are on top and then doing it this way. So it was this sawing motion here. Now, where a lot of this came from was on some of the studies of the yips, you had two types of yips. You had rotational yips and kind of speed or acceleration yips. And a lot of it came from, on a traditional grip, this palm is kind of facing here and it would push, okay? So the whole point of this change of this grip was to get this right hand in a much different position, so it couldn't really do that. So when I turn this hand this way in kind of this saw motion, you can see this palm is facing me versus the target, and it takes away this wrist move. I guess I could do this, but it kind of locks this arm into place a little bit better, where it's so easy for this wrist to be active when that palm is looking towards the target. So Mark O'Meara was one of the first guys to do that. He had done some, I know, worked on some yip stuff. So that was one of the reasons he had changed that into that grip. So going back to when Tommy Fleetwood first talked about using the claw grip, he talked about, for him, he couldn't control the face. So when he had a traditional grip, he talked about, hey, that face used to get too much rotation, and that was his issue. The stroke looked good, but it was hard for him to control the face. Now, when he first did his claw grip, what he called it, he actually had his right hand almost set like, if you think about if you're playing pool, you kind of use your right hand and the bridge between your thumb and your index finger as kind of this bridge, and this is where the pool cue goes. That's how he did his first style for his claw grip. So he called it a claw grip. He had this hand kind of set in here. Now, again, you can see that it's kind of setting in there, but he had it where I still feel like when he had that original one, it was sitting in here, but notice how my palm is still kind of facing the target. I'll put some pictures up, but you can see how it's still kind of facing the target. And yeah, I don't have that traditional grip part, but I still have that palm kind of facing the same way. So his original one, he called his claw grip, was a little bit more on the side here, fitting more in that bridge, and you could still see kind of the front of the grip here, and it wasn't covered up as much, okay? Now fast forward to his claw grip now. His claw grip now is here, and he's got a couple fingers over. He's a little bit more like 3. Pinky's not there, but these other 3 are more on top. So again, I even though we're calling this the claw grip, I almost think it's more of a saw. Now, I think O'Meara got all the way to here, so it's kind of a flip in between. The fingers are kind of going down at a 45-degree angle, but I've got 3 fingers on top, and that grip is sitting in that bridge there, but it's open, okay? The other thing that he has, and it's similar to Scottie Scheffler, who both of them work with Phil Kenyon, on their left hand, instead of traditionally kind of wrapping it around this way, they've got that index finger on this left hand going down the side, and then for Tommy Fleetwood, he's got these 3 on top. So this is his claw grip. This is what he feels like he has the best control over that club face with. Okay, now, a couple things when I've watched them both practice. First, I want to talk about Tommy Fleetwood's. So when I saw him at the practice range, when he does it, he comes up, he starts when he goes to make his practice swing, he walks up this way, he gets his claw grip on, okay? And I'll put some videos up in here so you can see him do it. He goes and does his practice swing, and now from him, he just walks up to it with that same claw grip on there, and then he putts, okay? So he doesn't adjust. Once he kind of gets into his claw grip in his practice swing, again, he just walks right into it. So again, I'll show you that. So he gets set, he starts here, gets set, okay? Does his practice swing, okay? Walks into the ball with this hand and grip, and then putts, okay? Now, do a little comparison of him and Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler will start traditional and then move it. So he'll do his practice swing, normal, and the big part is he walks into the ball with his traditional grip, he gets the face set, okay? And again, that right finger down the side, okay? And then once he's over the golf ball, now he's gonna move his bottom hand into there. And he's got more of like 2 fingers, again, index finger going down the side, and then he putts from here. Okay, so a little different way in how they walk into the golf ball, but their grips are almost identical. Now they both work with Phil Kenyon, so I think he's probably seen some things that he likes in both of those grips and why they've kind of copied each other and that are kind of popular with their claw style grips. And again, the 2 big parts there that I think are important are, one, that index finger of that left hand going down the side. I think I kind of like that. I think it gives me a little more support. And then again, I like, you know, not having kind of like these 3 fingers just kind of floating around in space from my middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Hey, I like how Tommy Fleetwood's got almost all 3 of these on. Hey, I think that provides some good support right there and kind of fits into that that bridge, that gap between my palm and my index finger a little bit more. And again, I think that gives him some good support. And again, you can see how this right arm, right hand, right wrist, they're not really doing much. And again, that's for him. That was a big part for him of being able to control that club face. Now, I think either way is fine. Again, the difference between those two, Scottie likes to get over the ball, get everything set, boom, and then he moves that right hand. Tommy Fleetwood gets the grip here, does his practice swing, and then walks into the golf ball with it. I think either way is fine. You know, some people may feel like weird kind of coming into it this way because I'm not really holding the club that great. Again, I think either way is fine. I kind of like how he does it there, but I also like how Scheffler gets here, boom, changes and set. I think either way is fine. I probably would say for most amateurs or most people that are trying to change to the claw grip, I'd probably have you go Tommy Fleetwood style, where I'm going to make my practice swing here with my claw grip, and then from there I'm just going to move into the golf ball and I don't have to change that, and then I'm ready to go. Scheffler will do like a regular traditional grip for his practice swing, and then he'll change it on his short putts. Again, either way is fine. I think for most regular players, I'd like you to get set that one way and then adjust. So again, some evolution of where Tommy Fleetwood's grip has come. It was more of the old school claw of kind of being in here, or claw. Now he's kind of more on top and he's got those 3 fingers there. I like that a lot better. I think that provides a little bit more support. Obviously putting great. I believe when he won the other week, he was #1 in putting. So it's obviously working. Again, you've got Scheffler using it for short putts, working. Justin Rose has been using it a while. So it's becoming a very popular grip, and guys are having a lot of success with it. So hey, if you struggle with your putting, it's a great way to make an adjustment, and I think it gives you a little more control. Both of them talking about having a little more control over the face, especially on those short putts. So if you're looking for a little bit better putting, especially on the short putts, give that claw grip a try.